A brace and an assist for Jackson against West Ham in the London Derby, and a quick-fire brace as well from Luis Diaz for Liverpool at Anfield ensured that match day 5 of the Fantasy Premier League was a success for most managers. How was yours? And how was Allan's? We will find out in this episode, and that is why we are back in studio to bring you a lot of discussions and pick-up points for this episode. So, Allan, how was your weekend?
In terms of fantasy, a good of mixed feelings, I would say.
No, not in terms of fantasy.
Yeah.
In terms of the jersey that you are wearing.
That is the reason why I was saying mixed feelings. So we were just a few seconds away from a very
doing the unbelievable
at the Etihad. But then that's soccer.
Sorry for you, man.
That's
because let goals like those, they really like they like, it's not the best way to like lose a game, especially draw a game, especially when your team played very well in the first half and then you were down to 10 men. Either way, it was a great weekend and we are back again. And so for that weekend, Allan, in terms of fantasy now, what were your pickup points? Who were your surprise players or players that did well for you?
Going back to our episode last week, I'll say we made the right decision with picking Haaland. I think over Salah for the captaincy. So I think I feel like that was a good thing. For the good performers, you already mentioned in your introduction. Jackson is not a consistent fantasy player kind of performer, but then that was a good outing for him. Luis Diaz, quick fire goals for Liverpool. That was a good one also. And the other one I can look at give or take, depending if they're in your team. Madison for
as well,
Spurs,
Tottenham,
or maybe if you had Konsa in defense for Aston Villa, because at least he got a goal.
What was your most surprising performance for the weekend? Anything that surprised you during the weekend as an FPL manager?
I will not call it a surprise, because if you are fantasy kind of fan, then you know that anything can happen. And on their best day, any player can perform. So, for example, for me, the biggest surprise was Jackson with the 2 goals and an assist. And the way he scored the goals, it was a good thing to watch. But then on the negative, not really negative, on the other side kind of things, it was poor performance from, remember last week I picked Bruno.
You did.
Bruno to perform.
Apologize to them. You told them Bruno would have a better weekend or have more points, a better performance than Cole Palmer, and things didn't turn out.
Unfortunately, I watched the Manchester match. I think Manchester had their own
chances,
opportunity to
including
score.
Bruno himself.
But then it was just a bad day at the office. Fortunately or unfortunately for those people who have Palmer, he performed way better than Bruno. But again, this weekend, I'm still backing Bruno to finally have a good game.
And I know why. Because you are wearing a jersey that is the closest adversary to the team that Manchester United is playing.
Of course.
Well and good. Mentioning Manchester United, I think for me it was, I'm not saying a surprise performance, but I'll pick one player from the team that impressed me, who's Onana. And he's kind of an underrated, or how can I call it, this season. The job he's doing for Manchester United is quite unbelievable. Save for the game he conceded 3 goals against Liverpool. I think during this weekend he had a double save which saved the team, kept a clean sheet. And I believe if I were to give man of the match for that game, I don't know who it was for that game, but I will give it to Onana. So that is my surprise performance of the last weekend, because I also believe that Manchester United at Crystal Palace, keeping a clean sheet is not for them.
The other thing, before I just forget, other person who had a lackluster game, I can call it. It was unlucky, and he continues to be unlucky. Was Eze. If you watch the game, he had either nice scoring opportunities or good opportunities for him to assist, but then the ball was not just going into the net. So that was a bad weekend for him. It was a poor performance for him.
Now on to the current match day that we are looking forward to to discuss.
Yeah.
We have the match day 6 and we have the fixtures as lined here. Maybe the hardest fixture will be Manchester United hosting Tottenham at Old Trafford. We have Arsenal hosting Leicester as well. Not a difficult match, of course. We have Liverpool playing Wolverhampton away from home, and we also have Chelsea playing. Chelsea are hosting Brighton. Yes, still at home. And who else have we forgotten? Yeah, very good fixtures. Manchester City, I think, are going to Newcastle. Yeah, and those are our big 6 fixtures. Of course, we can't mention all of them. But looking at these fixtures, which 4 key players would you advise our managers out there to have them in their teams?
If you're looking to have a good weekend, match day 6, and going forward, but let's focus on this match day 6. If you need to have players from Arsenal. So for Arsenal, the best pick for me would be Saka. Then you have Havertz. If you're looking to have, say, two attacking players from Arsenal, then Havertz and Saka would be the players to go to, because for Saka, most likely he's on penalties, and most likely he's very out and out attacking. So I think he's a good player to have. If you're looking at defense, then you can also consider Arsenal players in defense.
Yeah.
You can go for Gabriel. He's a threat from set pieces, and you can also go for the keeper, Raya. Most of us have stuck with Henderson from Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But then it's been disappointing.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
Apart from the game,
apart from
the previous game,
yeah,
but it's not been a good ride.
But if you look at, for example, the kind of match Raya had against Man City, if he's going to pull up those kind of saves, then he's
against teams like Leicester, probably looking forward to something better.
Yes. Then outside Arsenal, I would say you can go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Remember, I mentioned him last weekend.
Yeah,
you can also go for Luis Diaz. Because the reason, if you go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they are playing Crystal Palace at home. But if you're looking for maybe kind of differential from Everton, you can go for I don't know the other name, but McNeil. Is a good differential at a good price
for the fantasy managers. Well,
yes.
You mentioned something about Arsenal, and looking at Arsenal's fixtures, the next 3, as a fantasy manager, you'll be very excited because you would want to bring some Arsenal players in the mix. You mentioned you can have Saka or Gabriel or
Havertz.
But I want you, because at the end of the day, these are 4 players who are doing so well for Arsenal, and these are players who can still fit well in very many fantasy teams. So, which 3 of these players would you advise someone to have and gamble with? Because I'm sure at some point, probably, I don't know if Calafiori is going to start the next game, but which 3 players do you think we should pick? Because we have Arsenal playing, I think, Leicester, and they have a kind of an easy fixture.
We have Leicester at home. That's a good match for Arsenal. We have Soton at home. That's a good match for Arsenal. Then we have Bournemouth away. That's still a good match for Arsenal. Yeah, so for me, the 3 players we're looking at, it will be Saka. Saka plays regularly 90 minutes. He's a goal threat. If you look at Gabriel, his position, outside of maybe him getting injured, his position within the team, him and Saliba, his position is cemented within the team. So the reason why we're not going for Saliba maybe is because Gabriel has proved to be more of a goal threat. Then the other player we can look at this point, I'll say Raya is a good, especially for the coming 3 fixtures. It's a good
investment if you have him in your team.
But the other one will be Havertz.
No, I said 3.
So 3, the best 3. For me, the best 3, I'm looking at Saka.
Yeah, we can't have the whole of. Actually, the FPL cannot allow you to have more than 3.
So if you want to triple on Arsenal, go for I'll go for Saka, go for Gabriel, and go for Raya. Yeah.
All right. I believe you are right, because at this point, those are the most players. Those are the players who are meant to deliver most for the Arsenal, as we've seen them perform in the first few games. So let's look at our usual captains. And many people, aside from maybe those that I don't know, we have had Haaland. We've maintained the captaincy of between Haaland and Salah, because we know they are the penalty takers for their teams. We know how they do it. So looking at the fixtures, of course, as we saw it here, Manchester City is playing away from against Newcastle, and Salah is playing also away.
At Wolves.
At Wolves.
Yeah.
What do you think about this captaincy of these two people? Should we still go with them?
Yeah.
Would you weigh of who's most likely to have an easier game?
So if you look at it on paper, I'll say, give or take, Salah looks like he's going to have an easier kind of fixture. But it's not easy. Wolves is very unpredictable.
Yeah.
But then also, so is Newcastle. So you maybe not want to. I'll not say I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
But again, for me, the captains will be. If you go with Haaland, I think it's a good choice, because if anyone is going to score for Man City, then it's going to be him. Mo Salah has struggled a bit. It has been like kind of a mixed returns for him. But then it will also be a good choice. But for me, I'll be going this weekend, this match day 6, I'm going differential. I'm going Saka.
And that is where we were heading, because when I asked that, I saw these two players who are playing away from home, and these are not very easy fixtures. Of course, if I were to choose between Salah and Haaland, I would go Salah at this time, because I feel like it is his time to redeem himself. Of course, football doesn't work that way. This is a gamble that I can do on my side if I'm going for between the two. But now, two differential captains, because we have very good fixtures, and there's a way we can risk it. Of course, there's that manager out there who's thinking, you know what, I've been lagging behind too much, or it's not like I'm not moving up my leagues, and now he wants to risk it. Who are you risking with as a differential captain with the fixtures?
For me, the choice is very clear in my head. It's just one. If I'm going differential, just remember that the risk of you going differential is one. If that player underperforms,
you'll have the
then, for lack of a better word, you are
done, or
you are done. So I'm going Saka as my differential captain, and I'm going I'm sticking with Saka. We might keep a clean sheet as Arsenal, and I'm seeing him scoring at least one and also assisting. So remember, he's on corners for Arsenal. So
somehow Arsenal are good at set pieces. So he's one of the players that you can bank on. So you're going with?
I'm going with Saka, but then still, at the end of the day, still Haaland or Mo Salah, they're still a good choice for captain.
We are mentioning differentials. And in this regard, we are talking about players like Cole Palmer, who's playing at home against Brighton, Bruno Fernandes playing at home against Tottenham. Who else would you propose? Who else do you think could be differential for this? Or
Bruno would be a stretch for me. Cole Palmer would be another good differential. But then, honestly, my own honest opinion would be, for me, for every weekend, differentials will not be a lot of people, either one or two people. So if you're looking at Cole Palmer, of course, Brighton is not either home or away. It's not like a very easy fixture for Chelsea. So, but then again, if Chelsea are going to score multiple goals, Cole Palmer is going to be most likely involved in
in some of those.
So you can also, if you're willing to take risk, you can gamble.
Because sometimes it pays off. The problem is, you mentioned that Brighton is not that easy team, and when it's gonna be a goals gallo, then it could rip, because most of the goals that Chelsea score, Palmer is involved. So
remember, for this season, I think since last season, him, Haaland, Cole Palmer, Haaland, and Mo Salah are those players in the Premier League that have been involved in the most amount of goals. So if they're going to score multiple goals, it's going to be among the scorers or among the people assisting those goals.
Awesome. So we've seen how the fixtures looks like since we started this discussion. Which team do you think will keep a clean sheet? A team that is most likely to put up a performance and have a clean sheet, because we have managers out there who are feeling like they want a defense that can produce for them as well, not just the attack.
Arsenal.
Any other team you think?
The Arsenal is going to keep a clean sheet. We need it. Raya needs it. After his heroics for last weekend, he needs a clean sheet. The other team, I will not be surprised. Again, Liverpool have good defense.
So this is on the
again Liverpool. So if you have Alexander Trent, again it's a good. Then I don't rule out Man City also keeping a clean sheet.
A clean sheet.
Yeah, I don't rule out Man City.
Well, good. Yeah,
they're the champions, remember.
I think Arsenal, I also give them an upper hand in terms of the fixture they have.
Yeah.
And you're right, you don't also rule out Manchester City. But if you are going for a team or a defense that you think can keep a clean sheet this weekend, then Arsenal should be. So as we wind up, predict a surprise performance for the upcoming weekend. A player you think could do well, bad, whatever.
That would be a player to predict a player.
Yeah, a surprise performance. Let's say Jackson.
I'll go McNeil for Everton.
Wow, that's a wild pick.
I have a strong feeling.
That's a wild pick.
I have a strong feeling he might sneak in a goal. But I'm also going for Eberechi Eze to finally come good and to finally repay the faith.
Well, being a Manchester United fan, I believe our season starts this weekend. And if I were to choose, yes, I'm not an expert in this one. Don't follow me. Follow him, please. But I'm going to go. This is the first match in which you're going to see a Bruno performance. A proper Bruno performance. Well, now we go to look at the Liquid Sports Show standings of how the league looks like, or our league looks like. And there's a surprise performance, actually. And you know who number one is? Colito FC. Who's this guy?
I think I've seen his team from since match day one. And I think there are those match days that he's not had like really good returns, but then he's been making good transfers, and he's also chosen to stick with some players that have repaid the faith. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to show his team here so that at least our managers back at home can see it. So at number one we have Colito FC, managed by one and only guy from Carthon Zweni, Vincent Titus. And then we have number two, Ideas FC, Calvin Jinx. And then number three, Peseta Influenza, the Influencer. And those are our top three. So remember, you can also play our league. The link is in the description section and also in the first comment of this video. So join our league because, yeah, we love it. You know, the competition there is just very good because, as I can see, our expert here is also seeing some dust because he's not even in the top 5, but you know, he's a long-term kind of manager, and let's see how it goes. For me, I'm outside top 10, but that is my policy as well. I'm coming for you guys. So it has been a good chat with you guys, a good discussion with you, Alan. Looking forward to have you again for Match Day 7. My name is Brian. And I'm Alano.
And this is the Liquid Sports Show.